We're back, we're live. Big Ron Partlow from the Mutant Booth, 2015 FIBO. Stan, the White Rhino, Efferding. I'm really happy to have you on the show.
Man, thanks for having me.
You know, I don't get starstruck very often.
How do I look? We just got out of hair and makeup. Did they do all right with me?
Yeah. You know, I actually invited you on because I wanted someone as white as me. And then you showed up with a bit of color.
Well, and, oddly enough, I got my jacked and tan shirt on today, but I'm a little pasty. But
repping Mark Bell, who's a friend of both of ours.
That's right.
You know, down in Super Training in Sacramento.
That's right. Buy his shit.
Buy his shit. Fuck your elbow.
Yeah.
So you've been spending a lot of time. Why don't we start there? You've been spending a lot of time having fun at Super Training. You've been doing videos with Mark Bell, watched the interview and stuff. You know, you say you're retired. Every time I run into you, you drop the word retired in there. But you're still training hard and heavy. You look like $1 million. You're carrying about, what, 275, 280 pounds of muscle around?
I stick around 255 these days.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you got it molded into the right spots then.
Yeah.
And so what's the deal? What are you training for now? Fun?
You know, I'm just training to stay ahead of Father Time these days. I've kind of redefined the way that I look at training. I'm trying to do things that don't hurt as much, that powerlifting that can really take a toll on your body. I used to wake up every morning feeling like I was in a car accident. So I just, after I finished my last powerlifting meet, I said, you know, I'm gonna have fun again. I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna do things that I enjoy. And then I'm gonna try and, you know, excel at those. So I started increasing the rep ranges. I started decreasing the rest periods and just doing things with more of a health focus.
Right.
But still trying to do some as big a workout as I could. Still trying to stay right on the edge of being savage.
So is that where the 20 rep squat cardio comes in?
That's it. That's my cardio. I mean, you're not going to see me walking on a treadmill. So you know, the 20 rep squats was the only other way I could get my heart rate up.
I'm gonna give those a go because they look brutal. How long did it take you to get, you know, up to, what are you doing, 5 sets of 315 for 20? You
know, that's what's funny is that the backstory behind that is that I was so beat up from squatting heavy in competition. I had, you know, torn labrum in my hip, and the knees are all messed up from all that heavy squatting every week. So I had to go back to the gym and completely change my form. I went to a high bar closed stance instead of that lower powerlifting stance with the wide stance, you know. And I was really weak through that full range of motion. I went down into, say, a weightlifting, you know, range of motion.
Yeah.
So I was dropping deeper in the hole, which of course recruited more quad development, hamstring. So I was benefiting in terms of a bodybuilding perspective from it. But initially, I had some weaknesses in the knees and hip because they were so sore. And I just started almost over again. And I couldn't videotape any of my training. Nobody would have believed that I was struggling just trying to get in the hole with 135, you know, just trying to, it would take me almost 45 minutes just to sit down.
Just to get warmed up.
Yeah, because my body's so tight from all those years of doing the powerlifting. And I worked on that for like 6 months. I just started from scratch with the bar and then 135. It took me a month to get to 2 1/4, you know, 2-3 months to get to just 315. And eventually I started slowly working up. And then I added more and more reps. I'm not a rep guy. Historically, yeah. I've been fast twitch. I got 1 rep, and that's why I was so good at powerlifting. That tends to be my physical makeup.
Yeah, you're showing some of your big pushes here on the screen, you know?
Oh yeah, that's the 1 rep stuff. And I was, you know, I tended to excel at that. When I went to reps, it was like starting completely over. I was the worst guy for that kind of thing.
And now you're smoking them.
Now it feels good. Now it's a good workout. You know, I actually feel as though I'm getting some sort of metabolic benefit from it.
Do you feel like you're hit by a car every morning when you get up?
No, I feel a lot better. A lot of the injuries are better. My range of motion is better. The hip is better. You know, I of course incorporate a lot of stuff outside the gym to make sure that I'm healthy now.
What would you say would be the number 1 or 2 types of simple therapy or daily things that a guy like myself, who's been training for 24 years, bodybuilding, pounding, workouts, can do to get the longevity that you've gotten?
You know, I've got a great video on YouTube. It's me working with Mark Philippi, former pro strongman, world's strongest man competitor, former strength coach at UNLV. I've got a great video on YouTube that details everything that I did for the last 2 years. You know, I was 45 years old when I set that world record, the 2303 raw lift.
Yeah,
well past my window of opportunity. Yeah. And the only reason I got there was from doing that off-season, out of the gym work with mobility and a lot of stuff with Mark Philippi. And it details every bit of it. We couldn't cover it for an hour here, but it's something that I've had other powerlifters reach out to me and ask me about, and I just shoot them the vid, and they're like, okay, that makes sense. It takes a bit of work, a bit of discipline, because it's things I don't enjoy doing.
Right.
Left up to me, I'm just going to go squat heavy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go take a kettlebell and sit down in a plie. I'm just not going to do that. So I hired Mark, and I went in, and he made me do those things.
I really relate to what you're saying about it. Someone's got to make me get on a foam roller for 20 minutes.
That's right.
I just want to get to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, what do you feel when you look back at being an IFBB Pro Card winner, world record raw total holder? Like, everyone obviously looks at that as like a real anomaly, like you're a cyborg or something. But, where do you think that comes from?
I always believed, and probably wrongfully so, 30 years ago when I started lifting, that if I got stronger, I'd get bigger. And there's a limit to that.
Yep.
But I had that mentality, and it was just ingrained in me. And every time I went to the gym, I thought if I could lift heavier weights, I was going to get bigger.
Something's got to happen.
Yeah, and so that was kind of the way I started out training, was just power building, just lifting heavy, because I thought that was going to yield the best growth in terms of bodybuilding. I learned many years later, I had some inklings, but people tend to do what they've always done. I was just, hard-headed. But it wasn't until I trained with Flex Wheeler in 2009.
When you got ready for the Masters Nationals?
When I got ready for Masters Nationals. Yep. And I'll tell you the story because it makes a lot of sense. I had already built that base, obviously. I could work with a decent amount of weight, but I hadn't done a lot of volumizing in my career. And Flex took away all the power movements and just put me on total volume. And we did a lot more frequency, a lot more reps, a lot more sets, a lot more volume. And the repeated bouts, about every 3 days, we'd go back at it again. You can't train every 3 days with good recovery when you're trying to squat 700-800 pounds. It just doesn't work. So we brought that down to about 60% workloads and put in a ton of volume, and then over time, your body can adapt and recover from that quicker. And I started noticing more size, more volumizing of the muscles from that type of workout. And I ended up, and true story, for the first time in my career, building legs. I got my legs up to 30 inches.
Right.
The first time in my career.
And you could already squat 700 at this point.
Oh, 800, yeah, easily. It was, here I am 40 years old. It's the first time I ever had a decent pair of quads was at the Masters Nationals.
Right.
So the day after I win my pro card, I packed my bags, and I was staying in San Jose training with Flex. And I drove over to Sacramento and started training with Mark Bell. I was 250 pounds. Over the next 7 weeks, I gained 35, almost 40 pounds. I got up to close to 290.
So a good post-contest rebound.
A good post-contest rebound, and I was squatting 800 almost every week. Doubling 800, squatted an 850 in training. So every week we're squatting heavy, deadlifting heavy, pulling 760, 780, 800 pounds. And at the end of 7 weeks, I gained almost 40 pounds of body weight. I was squatting 800 every single week. I lost over an inch on my legs.
Really?
Yeah. And then that's the moment at which it clicked with me that I had to, I had to do something.
Strength and size are more cousins than married.
And at some point, you're really going to have to specialize.
Yeah.
And I always specialized with powerlifting, but I never really specialized with bodybuilding.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we've been rolling some clips of this crazy Rhino video that Jonathan's got up. But the list of lifts that you have, the impressive totals, the no knee wrap 854 squat was my favorite video, I think, of all time. You could hear the bar hitching all the way down. Chunk, chunk, chunk,
yeah, when
chunk,
you get that
chunk.
video without the music,
yeah.
and you hear those Olympic plates, they clap. They
clap,
sound
clap,
different than the clang of a metal plate.
Right.
And it was the first time I'd ever heard that was under the bar.
Really?
Because we always played loud music when we were training. So it was really strange to me. I still remember it, going down under that weight and hearing that clap, 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 clap.
I remember
clap,
the
clap,
sound on the video because it was, you looked like you were moving smooth, but those they were so sensitive to, it was almost like like a chain was lowering you.
That's the way I descend, yeah. And a lot of the guys don't do that. they think that's a terrible idea. But
Right.
maybe part of that was because I thought if I went down any faster, I'd never come back up. I would just ride on the floor.
Right.
So the whole time I'm like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Now, didn't you do that no knee wrap lift for a reason?
Yeah, it was another, in powerlifting there's knee wrap totals and no knee wrap totals.
Yeah.
And
I thought someone was talking some trash about you or something, so you thought, well, fine, I'll do 854 with
yeah,
no
that
reps.
always happens. I don't worry about that. I didn't know it had never been done before, to be honest with you. And I was 45, I think at that lift I was more like 43 years old. I was just a young guy when I did that lift. And it didn't occur to me at the time that was a world record. I didn't know that nobody had ever squatted over 850 at the 275-pound class with no knee wraps. So I was kind of excited when I got to the backstage and found out that was a world record.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else would ever tell that, like, would ever have a story that where they didn't know they were setting a world record.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just didn't know. I wasn't aware it hadn't been done. One of the reasons that I was so successful, I think, is because I always surrounded myself, at least later in my career when the opportunity was there for it, I had the time and I had the resources, I started seeking out people like Flex Wheeler. You know, when you want to be the best, train with the best. And in Mark's group, same thing. And Mark Bell had some big squatters there and some big benchers. And if I saw it happen, it became more believable to me. It became some sort of reality that I could achieve. Well, he did it, I can do it. And I think a lot of that's happened over the last years with the YouTube videos coming out. If you see something happen, suddenly it becomes achievable.
Well, now I was talking about how in powerlifting now it seems like every single guy squatting 800 pounds.
That's what I'm talking about. And some of these kids are 20 years old and they're squatting 800 pounds.
Yeah, it blows me away. You know, as a bodybuilder who was born out of the 90s, you know, 4 plates for reps was a lot of weight.
And we used to think that this, you know, the hugest number ever would be if you could squat 900. We were all chasing it really hard. And now that damn Eric Lillybridge is out there squatting 1,000.
Yeah.
You know, and Milanachev squatting 1,000.
Yeah.
And I never in my wildest dreams imagined that would be the new benchmark.
Yeah. Well, not only IFBB Pro, world record powerlifter, but you're a businessman. And you've got a new project on the horizon. I want to give you a chance to show everybody what you got going on.
Oh, yeah. This is exciting.
You're reminiscing. You forgot about what was on the...
Yeah, I kind of forgot.
You know?
You know, this has been about a year and a half in the making. Every time I go to the gym, you know, you got your water bottle and you got your pre-workout and you got your post-workout protein and you're lugging them all around and kicking them from bench to bench. You know how
you can't find them in your bag.
Yeah, and the water tastes like an old warm plastic milk jug sort of thing. So I put together this cooler, which is it's just a 1 gallon cooler that you'd use to exercise. You know, during training, you just drink out of it. You know, put your ice water in it. But I also had this designed, engineered and designed so it would accommodate, I took my shaker bottle out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Should have checked this before we got on camera.
No, that's cool.
But it's, there's a shaker bottle drops down inside and into a second shaker bottle that's removable. And so you can keep ostensibly 3 different types of shakes in here. You could have your pre-workout, your ice water around the outside to keep it cold while you're training. You just pop it back in here in between sets and stuff. And it drops into a second shaker bottle that's removable. You can put protein down in the bottom of it. So really, you've got, you know, the opportunity to have all sorts of different blends, however you prefer.
Right, all in one.
All in one. You carry it around and use it, you know, while you're training, before, during, and after.
So how can people get a hold of this?
This is thecooler.com. This is also being distributed in the U.S. through Europa Sports.
Okay.
And they're coming out next week. That'll be on their palette of products offered to all their locations throughout the country. And, you know, we visited FIBO this year to look for an international distributor in the UK and Europe. And we were talking to you guys about what's going on in Canada. We're trying to get this going worldwide here as soon as we can.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, I had a story I wanted to tell you about the first time I met you. And I'm not sure if you'll remember, but 2009, you'd won the Masters Nationals. You were walking around like 290 pounds, thick as a
I remember,
brick.
off stage, I remember.
And it was at the North Americans, and it was my first North Americans. And I went down there, and I thought I looked pretty good. And I was hoping for, you know, good call out, and I didn't get that top 5. So I was backstage, and you know, I was pretty disappointed. You know how it is. You know, you're backstage, you're going, geez, you know, 6th place is not first call out.
Right.
You know, so you're kind of thinking, Jesus, isn't what I came for. And I felt like no one really looked at me. Like I was up on stage posing, I felt like no one was looking at me. And then you and Flex came backstage, and you were going to talk to Keith. and there was no one left, right? And you started walking over towards me, like you saw me and you nudged Flex and you went like, let's go over there.
Yep.
And you guys walked right over, and I had to look behind me because I don't know, why are they coming over towards me? And you walked up and you just said one line, you go, you just totally got missed.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. That's the thing about the industry, boy. If you folks don't know your face, it's kind of hard sometimes to get that first call out when they're so busy and working so fast.
Yeah.
But I noticed we all watch the shows, especially us that are competing in the sport for so many years.
Yeah.
And it's painfully obvious to us. We're like, wow, there's somebody with either some potential or that just got overlooked. And so we wanted to come back and say, hey.
Yeah, at that point, being my first North Americans, as a Canadian coming down, you're already kind of hoping you don't get missed, right?
Right.
And so it really meant a lot because, it really, it's not like some guy that doesn't know what he's talking about said something, or your friends or your mom.
Yeah.
Your mom thinks you should have won every show you ever did, right?
Biggest fan.
Yeah. So that was cool. So whenever someone asks if I know Stan, I would say, well, yeah, I actually got a funny story. Stan helped me out one day with kind of having a bad day, and Stan came over and said something. So it's
you see with social media today, there's a whole lot of folks out there saying a whole lot of things, and the guys who have been through it, the brothers in iron that have spent decades, punishing themselves and just giving it all that they've got. I don't see that kind of disagreement going on or name calling or finger pointing, because we all get in there and we realize that it's a tough sport. And we've all worked very, very hard. And I'm constantly humbled when I travel around the country and I travel around the world at the level of talent that's out there.
Yep.
And game's got to respect game. And when you see somebody that's committed themselves for really the greater portion of their adult life to something that you enjoy, then I think we support that in and amongst each other.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why I'm proud to be what I call an old school guy.
Yep.
Because I think that the sport needs a lot of it right now. And it's only, it helps hold it together as a foundation. So, but we talk about foundation and old school guys. World record powerlifter, IFBB pro, entrepreneur, inventor.
It just keeps going. The chapters aren't all written yet. I'm just going to keep doing what I can.
The book never ends, does it?
No, it doesn't. I've got a couple of kids now. I've got a 3-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son, and everything seems to have changed so quickly. I tend sometimes to forget when things happened. Chronologically, my history it's just been so fast that it's all gone by in just a wink.
Well, we would love to have you back on the show.
Thanks.
Anytime. I know that you got a history with one of our big mutants, Gabe. I know
Gabe
go way back with Gabe Moen.
Right.
So it's you're kind of related to the family in a way.
That's right.
It's Stan Efferding, everybody. Thanks for coming on, man. You bet. Anytime, man. So cooler.com.
Thecooler.com, cooler with a K. Thecooler.com.
And where can they find you?
StanEfferding.com. I'm always available there.
There you go, guys. Check him out. Legend, cyborg. What else?
I don't know. It just keeps adding on. Thank you.
We're out. We'll be back with more from FIBO Live at the Mutant Booth 2015.